All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Friday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Batters with Pete Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. LSU has opened fall camp. It's exciting. First practice was yesterday. I know everybody wants to know kind of like the order of how things went. So I did not get to go to practice because the media availability is at 4:15 Central, and I was on air. Excuse me. A couple things of note we'll jump into here. Excuse me. A couple things of note. One quick second. There it is. Okay. Also, kind of letting the audience build a little bit before I dive too deep in. When early in practice, there's very little often that you could tell. There's no contact. You're not seeing team drills. One of the interesting things was they did, so they were in the indoor facility yesterday because of rain, shocker, and the media watched from the catwalk above, which I've never gotten to do before, by the way. In the past, we'd always just stand on the sideline at the indoor, but Brian Kelly just wanted everybody out of the way, so up. No worries, either way. But one of the really interesting things is media did get to see 2-minute offense. So there was no defense, but it was just, there's no tackling, but 2-minute drill, go. And Miles Brennan was quarterbacking. And the offensive line for which he was quarterbacking, a left to right was Bordelon, freshman, Xavier Hill, Fitzgerald West, freshman, Emory Jones, freshman, and Kimo Macaneoli, left to right. That ain't your starting offensive line, y'all. So those who were there said that for whatever it's worth, in repetition when they would do drills, that Nussmeier would go first. That I could tell you did not happen in every drill because there was one drill that Michael Cobble shot and Jaden Daniels went first. It was Daniels, Brennan, Nussmeier, Walker Howard. So I don't know that there's much to take away just yet. But I don't know if there's much to take away from it just yet, but if there was an idea that maybe Brennan would be the first guy, he is not. And that much is pretty clear right now. Because some will say, well, you can't take anything away from it. I disagree. I mean, somebody has to go first. The coach has to make a decision. Unless if they just flipped a coin, somebody has to go first. And the two drills I saw, one was Daniels and one was Nussmeier. So anyway, onward. Brian Kelly did say after practice that they won't really know, they won't really start zeroing in on specifics with quarterbacks until week 2 of camp. There is no media availability today. Tonight we do get player interviews after practice, but no practice viewing. The next practice viewing is Monday at 9:45 a.m. And then we get to talk to Mike Denbrock, which is pretty cool because we just haven't gotten to talk to the coordinators ever. So I think that's really cool. I'm excited about that. So I'll get to go to watch them on practice Monday morning, and then then we'll talk to Denbrock Monday afternoon. Let's see. Anything else there? Trey Bradford, no longer with the football team. That's obviously of note. Running back who has kind of had a weird career. Came here as a freshman in 20 with the COVID year. transferred to Oklahoma, never played a snap for Oklahoma before the 21 season started, transferred back to LSU, had to kind of regain his eligibility, did, but didn't really play a role last year. So, and now he's no longer with the team or enrolled in school. So that certainly opens the door. We all expect John Emery's going to be the guy. That certainly opens the door for Noah Cain coming in as a transfer. Armani Goodwin, who's still hanging around. So let's see. Okay, let's say some good mornings here. Brian Penton, good morning. Truax, David Coslin, Bubba Tatum, good morning. Brian Wynn, Thavanka De Silva, Kelly Gross, Scott Phillips, Bob Poole, Caleb Clark. What's up, y'all? Good morning, good morning. Brant, Matt, finally got my hands on Sazerac Rye. It was awesome and an old-fashioned. Very good, man. I'm surprised it's so hard to find in other parts of the country, but it is. Hey, Dad, good morning. Tyler Alexander, is Cardell Thomas back and healthy? He is. I just don't expect him to be a starter. Yeah, everyone asking about what's up with Trey Bradford. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I'll pry around a little, but the way Brian Kelly said it, made it seem like Trey wasn't in lockstep, which isn't entirely surprising. If you remember, it was his dad went on Oklahoma message boards and was sort of like apologizing for his son leaving, and said, it wasn't his decision. I mean, it wasn't Dad's decision. He wanted him to be in Oklahoma. Yeah, whatever. Sometimes that's just for the best. Ryan Amanda Guidry, Robbie White, best time frame to age of whiskey, 17 years or 18 years, asking for a drunk. You know what the thing is, Robbie? I don't think he was drunk. Not yet. I mean, that was so early in the show. He was maybe sipping his first beer, or I don't know. Talking about T-Bob, by the way. The clip from Scone and T on Wednesday has gone viral. I did check it this morning. It's approaching 1 million views. It's stunning. But if you haven't seen it yet, go check out my TikTok, at Matt Moscona. Trey Fisher, good morning. A.K.A. Pickering, good morning. Charlie Cavell, Rode Yule. Yeah, man, got that infield depth yesterday. LSU did pick up a transfer, a baseball transfer yesterday. Look, they obviously were expecting Carter Young to be here. And, excuse me. So, Ben Nippolt, Nippolt, Ben Nippolt from VCU, announced that he is transferring to LSU. Played 34 games at third base, 17 games at second base, 4 games at shortstop this past season in 2022. He was first team All A10. He hit 308, slugged 430. Only hit 2 homers, not a big power bat, but this is you're definitely bringing in an experienced veteran glove on the infield there. And so for Ben Nippolt, obviously, or Nippolt, I don't know if I'm saying it, Nippolt, he gets an opportunity to play in the SEC, elevate his level of competition for scouts. For LSU, they obviously get another infield glove. So, and I would presume they're bringing him here to start, so that way White can play first base. You can cross-train him some at third. Again, Dugas is a bat, but you can cross-train him at second. But primarily you want, Thompson and Gavin Guidry probably to be your middle infield, and then maybe Nippolt will be your third baseman. Gives you options, gives you depth on the infield, which you need. All right, smash that like button. By the way, Brock Rock and Wine is tomorrow. If you haven't got your tickets yet, brortho.com. Tim Gotro, good morning. Brown Bear 765. Morning, Matt. Getting into sports betting this season. What apps do you recommend? DraftKings, brother. DraftKings is the one that I endorse. So please download DraftKings and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Michael Merritt, good morning. By the way, it's DraftKings Sportsbook as well. You got to differentiate. There's the Daily Fantasy app, and then there's the Sportsbook app. Michael Merritt, good morning. Jesse Brown, morning, Matt. Saw the Saints are re-signing Kiko Alonso. Does that mean the team, does he make the team or Campati? Yeah, great question. I do not think he is going to make the team. Kiko Alonso last played for the Saints in 2019. He was injured to start 2020. The Saints traded Kiko Alonso and a draft pick to the 49ers in 2020 for Quan Alexander. They kept him on IR, or they put him on IR, so he never played in 2020. Last year was not with the team, and now he stayed in shape though. The Saints now re-signed him, so maybe it's one of those things where a guy had a year off of football, really 2 years off of football, and his body's able to heal. He's 31 years old. There's familiarity clearly, and they like him, But it feels like Pete Werner slowed a little bit here in camp. Quan obviously signed with the Jets. You need some depth there, no doubt, and he knows your organization. Now the interesting thing is also, apparently Quan would have had an opportunity to come back to New Orleans just in a lesser role and would have had to play some special teams. He'll want to do that. So I'm curious if with Alonso, his path to making the team is special teams. Keep an eye on that. Normal Guy, hello. Hunter Broadhead, good morning. Rapping Batches, Pabler15. Matt Lusto, good morning. Seems like Brennan has been there 15 years, LOL, but can't give a guy a starting spot just because of time on the team. That's been my point all along, Rapping Batches. I understand that there are people that are pulling for Miles Brennan, and it would be a great story. It would be a wonderful finish to his story if, in fact, he were able to win the job and have a great season. I just don't know that he's the best guy. I mean, he's got 3 career starts. That was 2 years ago. And I know everyone looks at the fact that he threw for 1,000 yards, but I'm telling y'all, we all watched it. It wasn't that good. The defense was terrible, and they had to throw it 50 times. He completed just over 50% of his passes. It wasn't very good. So that's not to say he can't get better. Of course he can, but is he your best option? I don't know. We'll see. Ryan Pike, we have football. Yeah, man. How about Arden Key last night? Arden Key and Tyron Johnson. Tyron Johnson from New Orleans. Warren Easton came to LSU and transferred to Oklahoma State. He basically got every target for the Raiders last night. He was awesome. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Wendell Norman, Harris 22. He's always drunk when he drinks. He probably gets more sober. T-Bob. Wendell Norman, hilarious conversation with the Otter laughed my behind off. Yes, if you missed Otter Locks yesterday, it's worth going back to listen. Just the very end of the show. He was clearly distracted, probably a little tipsy, and in the middle of Otter Locks, the call to the post came, the trumpet. Anyway, that happened right in the middle of him talking, and he just stopped, and somebody comes up to him. He's like, "We ain't got time for this." Got cursed. He's like, he's like, "I got no," just completely stopped the segment, started talking to this guy, and it was pretty funny. Pat Fluid, good morning. Long time no talk. Hope all is well. It is, Pat. Thanks for being here. Hey, Brad, David, good morning. Do you like Crown Royal? Sure. It's fine. Let's see. Matt, you're the best. I never get tired of listening to that Trevor Penning rant on AFR, #legend. That was fun. So those days when I get to do stuff like that are a lot of fun. That's why I love radio, man. Just candidly, radio without the video component is way more fun. Theater of the mind is just, that's the medium that I love. But I understand there's people who want to watch. Who wouldn't want to see all of this, right? But thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Jesse Bowes post, Matt Lusto, what's the latest on? Quan Alexander signed with the Jets. Edward O. got the crabs. Good morning, Matthew. What's good? Surely you know you can be judged by the company you keep. Maybe you should fade T-Bomb. You know what, man? I would. However, Oliver Twist signed us to a 2-year contract, and football season's about to start, so we will be back at Don Juan for whiskey and wine as well. So I'm going to be doing a lot of media with T-Bob. Brand Roban, what happened with the 2 players getting kicked out of practice for the Saints? So it was Malcolm Roach and Trevor Penning. Penning's the rookie offensive lineman. The 2 scuffled a little bit, and apparently the whole team converged. The scuffle lasted more than a minute, and that's when Dennis Allen. It wasn't just chippy swipe after a play. It was apparently the whole practice halted because of that, and so he kicked them both out. Cliff Nelson, can you use your DraftKings fantasy login to use the betting feature? Yes, you can combine the apps. Brad David, I know we shouldn't speculate, but do you think Tyron is okay? I really hope he does well. Seems like it. I mean, look, to be away like he was concerning, clearly. And if you're looking at him on Twitter, he's thanking God and talked about, he did talk to DeMario Davis, who was good for his soul. I mean, he went through something. He went through something personally with his family, something, and said yesterday at some point he'll be able to be forthcoming, more open with what happened. But in the meantime, it's good to have him back. Like, that's really all that I really, really care about. Is he's good. He's ready to go. Brian Arsenault, what's up, man? Let's see. Brian Penton. Fred Clay Morgan. This is going to shape up to be one of the most interesting quarterback battles I've seen. Legitimately, all three could start. I agree. Do you have a lean on which you think will start the year and end the season? So start the year. I have said Jaden Daniels all along, but I want to be very clear. Like, I don't think that that's a prediction I'm making with any tremendous degree of confidence. I am purely looking at the circumstantial evidence of he's the most experienced. Brian Kelly likes a mobile quarterback. And if they were content with the guys they had in the room, they wouldn't have brought Daniels in. So, we'll see. Let's see, Kurt Kelly making the media say, good afternoon, yesterday was great. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, apparently he started his press conference. He was like, welcome back, good to see y'all. I said, come on, hey, good afternoon. So, okay, man. Look, I've sat in enough of those. You're just there to work. I mean, you're there to capture sound and ask questions. And a lot of those TV guys have deadlines. If they got to get to the 6 o'clock or the 10 o'clock news, so they got to get the video, get the sound bites, get it cut, and then get it on air. So usually it's kind of those scrums like that tend to be a little no nonsense, just work and go. Vino Frazier, Matt, have you ever visited Kansas City? What was your favorite restaurant? I have not, Vino. I've been through Kansas City, and actually my sister and her family, they live there now. But I have not. Well, they live in Overland Park, but I've not been to Kansas City for any length of time. Caleb Brignac, how did the overall structure of practice look? How different is it with Brian Kelly? Again, Caleb, I did not get to go. The media availability was at 4:15 while I was on air. The next availability is Monday at 9:45, so I will go to that. Charlie Cavell, do you think LSU has the roster to challenge in the West? No. And Charlie, to elaborate, Alabama is far and away the best team in the West. And their East opponents are Tennessee, and Vanderbilt rotates on this year. So no one is going to challenge Tennessee this year. Nobody is going to challenge Alabama this year in the West. Get a Sharpie and put them in the SEC championship game. That's the easiest bet you could make this year. Now, will they win the SEC championship? Will they win the playoff? That's you get tough opponents. We'll see how it all goes. But so no, I don't think what is possible is if this roster comes together, and I believe you're certainly a better coach than you were a year ago. In a year where there's a lot of ambiguity in the SEC, in particular in the West, and no clear-cut number two, I think you could be the number 2 team in the West. I think that's possible. I think that's a ceiling for this team, and I don't know that they get there, but I think it's possible. Tyler Coleman, Matt, good morning. I have a question. What would you do with an 18-year-old whiskey? Oh, a lot of people have seen the video now. I mean, it's bumping up on 1 million views. I'm curious. I don't know where it was last. It was maybe when I went to bed. I looked at it. It was at about maybe 850,000, and I woke up just a bit ago and it was at like 950. So we'll see if it keeps ticking up closer to 1 million. I don't think I've ever done a video that's got 1 million views before. Certainly not on TikTok. The most views I've ever gotten on a TikTok before was about 250,000. That was the Christine Brennan rant. There was one video. Here it is. This one did 500,000 on Twitter. This kid's name was Aubrey Solomon. I remember it. It was signing day, and I just happened to have the TV on. And he commits to the University of Miami. He says Miami, but he puts a Michigan hat on. Now, ultimately, it was Michigan that he picked. But he puts a Michigan hat on and says Miami. And I tweeted the video. I said, man, he's going to be disappointed when he gets off the plane. And it's got 522,000 views. So that's kind of incredible. I mean, 682,000 impressions, 187,000 engagements. 2,300 people visited my profile off that tweet. Crazy. Anyway. So that was the most viral thing I'd done before, which wasn't even me. It was I just did a screen grab of a kid committing to the wrong place. Scott, who was Ott's on-air partner yesterday? She sounds like, was it a she? I thought it was a he. I need to find out. I'll call him and ask who it was. Mark Vitanovich, good morning. Who will be QB1 for the Saints, Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston? No, Mark, I will not be at the Superdome for the game against Florida State, unfortunately. I would like to go, but we'll be doing Whiskey and Wine from Don Juan that night. It is a Sunday night, but I did confirm yesterday they're going to open for us for the game. So anybody who wants to come to Don Juan Sunday night, we'll be there. Bobby Muse, it's a Nuss and Daniels race. Kind of feels like at least early, Bobby. Charlie Cavell, did I miss where Verge's son committed? Notre Dame. Yeah, so Jaden Osbury, linebacker from U-High, last night committed to Notre Dame. He was never coming to LSU, which, I mean, there would probably be some people who are upset, why Verge's kids go to Auburn and Notre Dame, why not LSU? Sometimes kids just want to get away. I mean, a lot of you probably experience that with your kids, or maybe you personally, where sometimes you get to be 18 and you want to leave home. You want to go see something different. So I don't blame them. Chase Pellegrin, good morning. Saw Coach Kelly said Trey Bradford is gone again. Yes, he is. Brian Broom, let's see. Key and Chasson combined on a sack. I missed that. That is cool. Arden Key had a nice night for Jacksonville. I was looking for Neil Farrell, but admittedly in the second half I wasn't really locked in a ton on the game. I had it on, but was doing some work. I didn't hear his name, but still pretty cool to see those guys. Cool to see football last night. Chase Pellegrin, any reviews from camp yesterday? Yeah, I think Harold Perkins was not here in the spring. I think he's surprising people. He's wearing number 10. He's putting on a little bit of weight. He's putting on like 10 pounds of muscle. So he comes in at 6'2", 220. As a freshman, he looks the part. What that kid's role is will be very interesting how they sort that out. I don't know how you keep him off the field. What are you hearing from your Catholic brethren about Samson? Nobody really knows. There are some people who insist he's going to pick LSU. All the crystal balls have him picking LSU. The industry predictions. But there's some people who have suggested that maybe that he wants to leave home, so doesn't want to stay in Baton Rouge. So we'll see. If it's not LSU, I hope he picks Florida State. I just don't want him at Bama or A&M. Just don't go to a place where we have to see you. Caleb Brignac, did you see the video of Burrow conditioning with the team? I did. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, Burrow was he had appendicitis. That's right. Burrow was riding the cart. So the team was doing sprints, so Burrow was driving a cart doing sprints like up and down the line because he can't run because he had his appendix removed. Let's see. Stephen Fry, good morning. Kirk, any interesting wide receiver battles to see at camp? Who's the dark horse? I mean, I think you've got Butte, Jeray Jenkins, Jack Bech, Malik Neighbors. I'll be curious. You see, that's one of the things about this receiving group. You have some real talent, but you don't have a ton of numbers. I will really be curious to see if Chris Hilton can carve out a role. Last year, Brian Thomas did as a freshman. Can Chris Hilton carve out a role on this team? Brian Kelly has kind of gushed about Hilton a couple of times, unprompted. That's always a telltale with a coach. When a coach brings up a player unprompted, it's kind of telling you they like this guy. And he's done that with Hilton a few times. So I'll be curious to see if Chris Hilton maybe doesn't make a bigger impact this year. Fred, Clay Morgan, Will Campbell's going to do very well at LSU. He's ready for early success. Comes from a great family. I know and work with his dad from time to time. Great people. Everyone's quick to point out the disasters. There isn't very many people to give compliment and praise. Yeah, look, I mean, Fred, I think everyone has sort of universally praised Will Campbell. I think he is, a lot of people are very excited about him. I mean, the fact that, I never want or need a freshman to start on the offensive line, but, man, he seems ready, and if he is, let's roll. Excited to watch him play. Kevin Banta, good morning. Having a mimosa on the beach in St. Lucia. How are things back home? Kevin, where are you in St. Lucia? We might have had this convo once before, but so Erica and I, on our honeymoon, were at Sandals La Toc in St. Lucia. That's where we stayed for our honeymoon. But we loved it. Went to the Pitons, the Piton Mountains there. Really enjoyed St. Lucia. Beautiful place. Charlie, always shake my head when athletes. I think the University of LSU. Yeah. Robbie White, check your Twitter after morning Scone. Okay. Brian, when is Shelton Sampson expected to announce? Tomorrow. He is going to announce Saturday at 3:06 p.m. So he wanted to do it on the 6th at 3:06 because he's jersey number 6. So he's announcing tomorrow. Brian Arsenault, some of these questions, comments, and T-Bob are the reason why Matt drinks whiskey. Charlie, is there a disconnect between LSU and U High? No, Charlie, they've gotten their fair share of wins there. Garrett Brumfield, Nick Brissett, Jaqueline Roy. They've gotten kids from U High. The flip side of it is you've seen guys like, Dylan Moses. If Les hadn't been fired, Dylan Moses would have been at LSU. He's said that publicly many times. Tim Williams, LSU pulled his offer because he didn't have grades. Somehow he got eligible at Alabama, though. And despite like 30 positive drug tests, never missed a game. Micaiah Tongue went to Georgia. I don't know that LSU was really pushing for Austin Osbury last year, who ultimately picked Auburn. And then Jaden, I think it was Verge's kids always wanted to go experience something different. So Jordan Clark didn't have a committable offer when he went to Arizona State. So, sometimes circumstances matter. LSU's gotten their share of U High guys, and there's a share of them that have left as well. Quentin Breakbill, what's going on? Tony Cortello. Brian Kelly comes across very patient at the podium during press conferences. Is that his demeanor at practice, or is he the Brian Kelly we see on the sidelines during games? I think I've determined that he is far looser than the perception is of Brian Kelly. I think he's a very intense guy during the games, clearly at times. And what little bit we got to see at practice, and again, candidly, I wasn't there yesterday. The media availability was while I was on air. So I will be able to give you a much better sense after Monday's practice when I actually go. But Anyway, but yeah, no, I think he's appropriate. Sean Comiskey, what do you consider to be the best, most famous interview you've done in your career? Jeez. Most famous is probably Shaq, right? I mean, isn't Shaq one of the most famous people in the world, where he could literally go anywhere in the world and he's known by 4 letters? Shaq. I mean, how many people? So if you're just saying like most famous, I mean, Shaq's probably the most famous person. He's probably most famous. Matt, other than Wilson, House, Denbrock, and Davis, which Brian Kelly hire has impressed you the most? I think Joe Sloan. I mean, he took off the 2 coordinators, Frank Wilson and Brad Davis. Probably Joe Sloan, or maybe might go Hankton just because of the recruiting success already at receiver. Ryan Pike, NFL dark horses this year. I mean, it's not a cop-out to say the Saints. I mean, they're projected in Vegas to win. I think their over-under is 8.5. With what they did in the offseason, how close they were last year despite all of the injuries, that's not a bad pick. The Saints really aren't a bad pick. That's no homer pick. I mean, that's legitimate. I mean, they're a legitimate dark horse. I don't buy the Eagles though, Ryan. I'm not a Jalen. I don't believe Jalen Hurts is an NFL quarterback. I mean, look at his record against teams with a sub 500 record and teams above 500, and it's dramatic, the difference. So I just believe he's one of the better of the not great starting quarterbacks. Are you still blocked on Twitter by Christine Brennan? Absolutely. I haven't checked, but I don't know why she would go back and unblock me. Matt Lusto, has Kelly said anything publicly about his feelings on getting more shots at Saban? No, I don't think so. Ryan Pike, oh no, who asked him that? Going to get Matt's blood pressure up early this morning. Oh, that had to be the quarterback thing. Shane O'Mac, good morning. The wife and I laughed our behinds off first thing this morning at the video clip. Great start to a Friday. Did Joe Burrow plays chess with himself in the locker room? I did not hear that. It seems very, very Joe, though. All right, Kirk asked for it, so here you go, Kirk.
When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone, Ontario.
All you need is Hudco.
Call Hudco Roofing.
364.
1007.
Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right. What else do we have, y'all? What else do we have? Any more? Oops. Kirk, interesting interview with Moffitt the other day. What job do you think he would leave for? You know, Kirk, I asked him on air if he would say, and he wouldn't, which I respected. And then off air, I did not ask him. So I don't know. But I will. I don't mind asking. I'm curious. If you missed it, that was okay. Y'all are staying at Sandals La Talk. So we were in Unit 19. I'll never forget it. So we were up the hill in one of those, rooms that had its own like plunge pool, and I mean, I'll tell you all that story actually. If y'all have time. So we book our honeymoon at Sandals La Talk, and the resort, like the main tower building of the resort is down on the beach. And then the resort kind of is built up a hill, and the farther up the hill you go, the more like exclusive sort of the rooms are, right? To where if you get to the top of the hill, it's like where they have like the little bungalows with your own plunge pool, and anyway, and we kind of settled on one like halfway up the hill. And when we got there, we walked in. Erica. So first of all, she left her phone on the Sandals shuttle from the airport to the resort. So we get off the shuttle. We're checking in, and then we realized she left her phone. So that was immediately like disaster number one. Then we get up to the room, and she's not thrilled. She thinks what we paid, that it was too small and whatever. And I didn't care. I was just, pumped to be there. So I was like, all right, this just isn't, it's our freaking honeymoon. So I go back to the main room, the main office, to tell them, hey, my wife left her phone on the shuttle. Can you check with the shuttle driver to see if they have whatever? And I said, also, do you have any vacancy up the hill? And they're like, is there something wrong with your room? I'm like, no, the room's fine. Just, do you have any vacancy? And so they're like, well, there's a few units open, blah, blah, blah. I was like, can I see them? So they get me on a golf cart, and someone brings me up and shows me. I was like, all right, this one. So they bring me back down, and I just took out a credit card. And I don't even know how much it was, but I definitely could not afford it, but I didn't care. It was honeymoon. I was like, we're just going to do this right. So put down the credit card. They bring me back on the golf cart to our current room, where Erica has gotten in a good mood, and she's excited now. She's unpacking. I said, pack up all the stuff. We're going up the hill. So she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, we got an upgrade. Come on. So packed up all the stuff, went up the hill. And so we were in number 19. That was our unit at Sandals La Toc. Loved it, man. We had a great time. Sandals was fantastic. It was called a butler suite. You had a butler. That's what it was. They gave you a phone. And if you ever needed anything, you'd call the butler to get you beers or food at any hour of the day. They had butlers on 24/7. So it was we lived large for a week. It was fun, or for 5 days, whatever it was. Tanner Smith just saying, no way Jordy sells more roofs than you. That's true, but I hope he does. I sure hope he does. Yeah, if y'all missed it, Jordy, you're probably noticing Jordy's got a Hudco hat on his show. So Terrio and Jordy met last week, and brought him on board, endorsing, and then I think also doing some sales. And so yeah, I mean, y'all can holler at Jordy too if you want. Vernell Thomas, good morning. Kenneth Kyle, obviously win, but what do you see the most from Brian Kelly, LSU team against Florida State? What do you want to see the most? A lot. I want to see a dominant offensive line. I want to see John Emery look like a star. I want to see the defense be fast and physical and really, really hold Florida State down. A dominant defensive front seven. Solid kicking game. There's a lot I want to see. Anything to dig at trivia? Oh, okay. Fred Clay Morgan, what happened with Christine Brennan? Christine Brennan, when the Big Ten, if you remember during COVID, Big Ten announced that they were canceling their football season, and then nobody else really followed suit, and everyone kept playing. And then the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12 were having a season, and then the Big Ten recanted and decided they were going to play a season. They were going to start in October and play 6 games schedule and all sorts of stuff. And Christine Brennan wrote a column where she called it the darkest day in the Big Ten history, and I blew a gasket. Considering the Big Ten is also the league that produced Jerry Sandusky, who was raping children, and Larry Nasser, who was sexually molesting gymnasts at Michigan State for decades. The fact that she called the Big Ten's decision to try to respectfully and safely play a football season the darkest day in the history of the league was so hyperbolic and just downright stupid. And that type of Chicken Little, anyway, I went off, needless to say. Clipped it, put it on TikTok, and it got like 250,000 views. And then she blocked me. Kirk, good to see Matt and Jordy working together again, kinda, LOL, to celebrate, play the Hudco jingle. Did it. Will Jordy get a personalized Hudco jingle? If it'll help him, are you going to add Jordy to the Hudco song? I don't think so. I don't think we're interested in creating a new jingle right now. All right, any more Y'all Brock Rock and Wine is tomorrow. If you're looking for something to do tomorrow night, brortho.com for tickets, brortho.com. Where are we? Tired Eyes, Tracy Poole. Good morning. All right, y'all think we're just about done. All right. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching. YouTube, smash that like button. Only 20 likes. We had 78 watching live and only 20 likes. Smash that like button. Please subscribe up to the channel if you haven't done so yet. We appreciate that greatly. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscone page, share the post. We appreciate that as well. And y'all have a great day. So LSU Daily, by the way, let me just real quickly. I've been dropping LSU Daily at 6 a.m. I did not have an opportunity to record it last night because I left studio before Brian Kelly had spoken to the media. And I wanted today's episode of LSU Daily to include everything Brian Kelly said about the first day of practice. So when I get to studio, I will record LSU Daily. It will be this afternoon, though. So LSU Daily will drop this afternoon, and maybe I'll drop a bonus episode over the weekend as well. So subscribe up however you get your podcasts at LSU Daily. Okay, y'all have a great day. Appreciate y'all. Peace.